You've had some practice drawing shapes in 3 dimensions. We looked at isometric drawings, we looked at oblique, we looked at 1-point and 2-point perspective, 3D drawings, all of those. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to make what's called a multi-view drawing of a 3-dimensional shape. Multi-view drawings have the distinct advantage over a 3-dimensional drawing in that all of the lengths and angles in the various views that you're looking at are true. Because they're true, you can dimension them with numbers and angles and other notes that make it easy for the person who will be manufacturing the part to see exactly the sizes that the part needs to be. Everything that's designed needs to be designed with specific numbers and dimensions, and that's what multi-view drawings are used for. So here we see an example of what's called a multi-view drawing. And if you look here, you'll see this is the isometric view of the shape. And then here we have the various multi-views of the part. We have over here the front view, the side view, and the top view. Now, you'll also notice in these views that we have numbers here. These are dimensions. And if you look here, you'll see some lines that are dotted. These are called hidden lines, and we are going to talk about those at a later date. So we'll be going through the process of producing this multi-view drawing without the hidden lines and without the dimensions. So we start making a multi-view drawing by identifying the front view. Now, the front view is the longest side. And if we look at this part, we can see that there are 3 views of the part showing. There's a left side, there's a right side, and there's a top. So if we want to identify the front view as the longest side, which view would be, in this particular drawing, which view would be the front view? Well, it would be the left side, because the left side is the longest side. Now, when you identify the front view as the longest side, you want to ask yourself, which side of the part is it on? In this case, the longest side is the left side. Do you see that? This is the left side right here. This is the left side. It's the longest side. This is the right side. The front view is going to be either the left or the right side. The view from the top is always going to be the top view. So we decide here that this is the longest side, and we want to draw the front view on the side that it appears. So it's on the left side, so we're going to draw what we see on the left side of the paper. You'll notice that we draw what we see as if we were looking straight on to the part. This line here is slanted, but you'll notice here in our view it's straight. It's because we want to take this part and turn it and look at it directly from the front view. Therefore, the line along the bottom is going to be flat. You'll also notice that we keep everything in perspective. We see that this is a longer side than this side here, so we've drawn it that way in our front view. You'll notice that there are some other features here that we don't see in the front view. That's because this pocket, for example, is hidden by this wall, and we wouldn't be able to see it. We're not going to show any features that are not directly seen in the view that we're drawing. Okay, so that is how to draw the front view. Identify it as the longest side, and then draw it on the same side that it exists. Okay, only draw faces you see, and keep the proportion and scale consistent. All right, next, what we're going to do once we have our front view drawn is we're going to put in what are called construction lines. Construction lines come off of the edges of the front view. So you'll notice that I draw my first construction line off the top edge. There's a gap right here. There's a gap right here between the line and the part. We don't want that line touching. Also, you'll notice that it's a very, very thin line. There's my second line, and here's another line coming off that bottom edge. This is going to help us line up our side view. Again, you'll notice that the line is thin, and also that it is not touching the front view. All right, so once we have our construction lines, now we're going to draw the side view. The side view is what we see from this particular view here. And as I pick up that part and imagine I'm looking at it from the side view, I'm going to go ahead and draw what I see. And this is what I see. Now you can see, I can see this U-shape feature up here. And this little groove shows up as a rectangle on my part. Try to understand what's going on here. Front view, side view. You're only drawing what you can see from that view. Again, even though this line is slanted, in the side view it's going to be straight. You'll notice also that there's a gap between the views. I didn't put the side view directly onto the front view, but there's a gap here. And also the features of the part extend to the construction line. This is the top of the bottom surface, and you can see that this square right here only goes up to the top because that's where it is. That construction line lines up that face with the side view. Do you see that? Same thing with the top. It doesn't go past the top or below it because it is the top. This is the top, and it goes up to that top line. Okay, so now we're ready for the top view. The top view always goes above the front view. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the front view and we're going to draw construction lines up from the edges of the front view. See that? And then we're going to draw the top view. The top view is what we see from the top. Now, we need to orientate the part so that we're looking at it in the proper direction. The construction lines will help us. You see this little thin bar here. This thin area here is what I'm going to put in there this. So I'm turning it and flipping it up in the same orientation as it is here. And I'm going to look at the top from this point of view. And you can see that that's what I draw. Notice the gap between the views is the same. I have a very similar gap between them. It's about 1 inch. And voila, that is my multi-view drawing. This is what we first saw in the first slide, and you'll notice that it was very similar to what I've drawn, except in this one, we've completed it by putting dimensions and hidden lines. Don't worry about that for now. We're going to learn about that at a later date.